What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Patriots Real-Time Podcast. I'm your host, Theo Diesenhaus, back with another solo show. Today we're going to be going over the Patriots' 42-10 loss to the New York Giants. Unfortunately, they will not go undefeated in the preseason. They end up 2-1 with wins against the Vikings and the Commanders, and then obviously the loss against the Giants. I'll go over my 53-man roster projection, and I'll kind of do it on the pod, so I won't have like a concrete kind of 53 where I just like work through it. I'll have to, work through and see if I want to make cuts to certain players versus just having the roster there, if that makes sense. I'll be doing that on Pat's Picker on patsfans.com, so if you want to do your roster projection like that, go to patsfans.com. It's called Pat's Picker. It's very helpful. Shout out Evan Lazar because he told me about this. But quick little recap of the game. Also, I did a podcast with Ethan Hurwitz. He runs the Gillette Nation Instagram account. I'll try to get that up eventually. Don't exactly know how to publish it. But hopefully Austin or someone will help me with that. But let's get into it. Ben Woldridge got your start for your New England Patriots yesterday. Not great. 10 for 20, 82 yards. A touchdown and interception, that being a pick six. And the touchdown going to Jeremiah Webb, who I don't believe was cut in the initial wave of cuts. Also, we'll be going over that. But Woldridge was given an opportunity to really not cement himself, but to really win a quarterback 2 job, honestly. Maybe not go. I'm not going to go that far. I think he was given an opportunity to win a roster spot. That's really what he was given, I think. Maybe not. I don't even know. I keep changing my mind here. Okay, here's my final opinion. He was given an opportunity to be in discussion for a roster spot. You look at how soon he was cut after the game. Not even 24, barely 12 hours, maybe 15 hours after the game is over, and Ben Woldridge is off this team. So I think if Ben Woldridge played like he did in the first preseason game, second preseason game he wasn't as good, but first preseason game against Washington where he threw the touchdown to Efton Chisholm, he led the team down the field multiple times. If he played like that, then I think he wouldn't be in the first 12 or 16 or however many initial roster cuts that Mike Vrabel announced. I don't think his name is said if he plays well, so I think he earned his opportunity, or he was trying to earn an opportunity yesterday to not be in that cut list and have the Patriots and force, actually, the Patriots and Mike Vrabel to make a tough and difficult decision on whether or not to keep 3 quarterbacks. And unfortunately for Woldridge, he did not do that yesterday. He went 10 for 20, like I said, 82 yards. Not a good game at all. He started and he rode the whole thing out. He played the entire game. The Patriots lose 42-10 with him at the helm. There was discussion on whether or not Josh Dobbs was going to get in the game, but he did not. I wonder what would have had to happen. Maybe just a Ben Woldridge injury would only cause Dobbs to get into the game. But also, maybe if Woldridge was playing really well, and I know that makes no sense because if he's playing well, keep him in the game. But maybe there was an opportunity for that QB2 spot. But even without even playing a single snap last night, Josh Dobbs clearly earned himself the QB2 spot for now, because you never know what they can do on waivers or in the trade market. Guys like Case Keenum, maybe a reunion with Jacoby Brissett in Arizona, if you can try to trade for him. There's a ton of other guys. Josh Dobbs did not do enough to earn that quarterback 2 spot this summer. So if a trade becomes available, I think you have to take it, and Josh Dobbs should not feel secure at all in that quarterback 2 spot. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Woldridge. 56.7 passer rating yesterday, which is just absolutely awful. I'm going to go ahead and go to the other team's quarterback, which is kind of weird, but I'll connect it back. The Patriots got diced up yesterday by Tommy DeVito and Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's stat line, 6 for 12, 81 yards. Not great. But you look at some of those throws that he made against Patriots cornerbacks, specifically Patriots cornerbacks Kobe Minor and Miles Battle. Now, you look at the other cornerbacks, Isaiah Bolden and Jordan Polk. Those guys I would have talked a ton about in this podcast because I wanted to do a full segment on who the cornerback 6 is going to be if they carry a cornerback 6. Unfortunately for me, and unfortunately for Jordan Polk and Isaiah Bolden, they were released 2.5 hours ago. So they will not be making the team. So right now it's between Kobe Minor and Miles Battle for your cornerback 6 spot. If that even existed, could be a spot that doesn't exist. But for now, it's between Kobe Minor and Miles Battle. And while Miles Battle did not have a good game by any means, he had a better game than Kobe Minor. Kobe Minor is a guy, he's Mr. Irrelevant, believe Kentucky, but also could be wrong about that. I don't think he's from Kentucky. He's from one of those schools down south. Is Kentucky down south? Oh, whatever. But Kobe Minor is a guy who has not earned a roster spot this summer, especially after you look at that game. He got absolutely bodied, if that's the word you want to use. He got absolutely killed and killed not in a sense where he was taken out, but in a sense where he lost extremely badly in one of his opportunities to be a gunner. And you look at Minor, he's a very fast guy. You look how he gets down the field on one of his opportunities to be a gunner, and he gets down the field, he misses the tackle. Second opportunity, probably not second opportunity, but where he stood out the second time was when there's 2 guys on him. He's getting pushed into the Giants sideline. He's like 3 or 4 yards in the Giants sideline. The whole sideline is going crazy for the Giants. It was pure domination for New York yesterday. They go 3-0 in the preseason. They win 42-10, like I said. That's domination. This is what you did to the Commanders, but worse for the Giants. But anyways, back to Kobe Minor. I think that play just sums up the entire game, right? There's 2 against 1. It felt like there were 22 guys on the field for the Giants and there were 11 players on the field for the Patriots all of last night. It was not fun to watch. But back to the quarterbacks. Tommy DeVito dices you up 17 for 20, 198 yards on Kobe Minor, on Miles Battle, on Jordan Polk, and on Isaiah Bolden, who lets up a touchdown. But anyways, okay, I got sidetracked from my sidetracking. But Kobe Minor, why did I not like Kobe Minor? There's also more things. Kobe Minor, and I know Mike Vrabel has been preaching it all throughout training camp, especially to Drake May. But I don't really understand celebrating when the ball goes through another guy's hands. Now, it's still not great to celebrate when it's an overthrow, but I guess it's more rational than celebrating when the ball goes through a guy's hands on a perfect throw when you're not in coverage at all. Kobe Minor is celebrating, and then Kobe Minor made a play. He made a play on the football, one of the only plays that he made, and he's like screaming because he didn't intercept the ball, but he made a play in the end zone to break up a pass, and he's upset that he didn't pick off the ball. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, but he's made one play all preseason, and he's upset about it. But anyways, you can tell where I'm going with this. Miles Baggles, my cornerback 6. Miles Baggles made plays. He made a play. I don't remember. He made a play in one of the 2 preseason games where it was a really nice pass breakup. The receiver just ran to the sticks. It was a comeback route. Battle came back with the receiver, kind of jumped in front of him, broke up the pass. It was a really nice play. It was one of the best plays a cornerback has made all preseason. And honestly, I thought this battle was okay. I thought this battle was between Miles Battle and Jordan Polk, but Jordan Polk is not on the team. Also, Isaiah Bolden was a sneaky guy, but he's gone now, so we don't have to talk about it. All right, moving on. Patriots running backs. Shane Watts here just to run the football. He's cut today. 15 for 52, 3.5 yards per carry. I thought he had 2 good runs. One was 13 yards. The other was around there, maybe 8 yards. But other than that, he wasn't great all summer. He wasn't great. He was just brought in to really just make sure the Patriots got through at running back, not having to play Gibson, Mondre, or Henderson. So, yeah. Michael Hasty, 11 for 30. He's a guy who's on my team. He didn't have a great game running the ball. He's a special teamer, though. I have Hasty on this team. Michael Bernard, he's 7 for 16. He's similar to Shane Watts. He just didn't get as many carries. And then Ben Waldridge, 2 for 12. All right, we'll look at the receiving here. Your leading receiver, Jeremiah Webb, almost said John Giles. Jeremiah Webb, 3 for 31 and a touchdown. Jeremiah Webb has not only been a good receiver, he's also been really good on punt returns. He had, let me scroll down here and see how long the punt return is here, just so I get this right. He had a 22-yard punt return where he made a really nice move on someone, and if he got another block, then he would have gone all the way. Javon Baker did have a really nice block on that, and we'll talk about Javon Baker more in like a few seconds. John Giles, 3 for 26. Kendrick Bourne lookalike. I talked about this on a podcast that didn't get posted. But he looks like Kendrick Bourne. He has the same arm sleeve, same gloves. He runs exactly like him. He's just Kendrick Bourne wearing 83. And not as good, unfortunately. Phil Lutz, 2 for 11. He's another one of those like Shane Watts guys that they brought in just to make sure you can get through this game. And not have to play Jeremiah Webb and John Giles the entire game. Michael Hasty had a catch. Jack Westover had a catch. I honestly don't know if he makes the team as a fullback. I think a week ago, I had Jack Westover on the team as a fullback. Right now, I don't know. Maybe. I still lean towards yes. I think it's like a 51% chance, but I don't know. And then Jaheim Bell gets cut today, so we don't have to talk about him. Javon Baker, no catches. Now, Javon Baker, he wasn't great. I think he had did he have a penalty? Potentially had a penalty, but on offense, he's just not a good receiver. It's like 95% confirmed that Javon Baker is not a good receiver. But Matthew Slater wasn't a good receiver, and I'm not comparing Javon Baker to Matthew Slater, but Javon Baker has looked really good as a gunner. He had a really nice play yesterday. Everyone knows what I'm about to say, where he pushed I guess it wouldn't be, I don't even know what you call him, but the guy that was on him when he was trying to go and tackle, I believe, was it? Yeah, it was a punt. Wouldn't be a kickoff because that wouldn't make sense, but he pushed the guy that was on him into the football and into the return man. And he caused a turnover for the Giants, where the Patriots got really nice field position and I believe scored. So Javon Baker had a good game, another good game. He was around the football and special teams. He had the nice block, like I said, on the Jeremiah. All right, I don't exactly remember what I was talking about, but that's okay. Javon Baker, I think I was talking about, but I don't know. We're going to move on anyways. Yeah, so let's see what else we got here. Defensively, Del Pettis is a really good tackler. Del Pettis is a pretty good special teamer, and I think that the Patriots should keep Del Pettis. So, yeah, Kyle Duggar, a good game for him. I thought he wasn't as bad as people said he was in the Minnesota game, but honestly, not a bad game for him. So, yeah, Marte Mapu, that's an interesting player. I don't have him on the team right now, but I might have him on the team right now, honestly, because linebacker depth is really thin. Marte Mapu, I've said this about 100 times on this podcast. He's officially a linebacker, so I don't know. We'll see. Jack Gibbons is another member of that linebacker crew who played last night. Other guys that are starters that played last night. Jabril Peppers played last night. He played a lot, and the reason Mike Vrabel wanted Jabril Peppers to get acclimated to playing with rookie Craig Woodson, because Craig Woodson's going to be the other safety. If not, it's going to be Jalen Hawkins. But I'd assume by the end of the year, it's going to be Pep and Woodson if everyone stays healthy, or if those two guys stay healthy, then it's going to be those two. And I think that's a smart decision. Pep didn't get hurt, or Woodson, as far as I know. So really good decision from Vrabel. Try to get those guys acclimated. Also, Peppers didn't play in the Vikings preseason game. And then Keon White played a lot, and Keon White did not play very well yesterday. According to Mike Vrabel, it was a decision that they both made to just have him play a little bit. And I don't know. We'll see with Keon White. I hope he doesn't get cut. But I don't think he'll get cut. But yeah. And then Josh Farmer, I thought he had a really good game. He was very productive early on in the game. He had 2 nice plays on, I think it was the Giants' second drive, where he stuffed around, he got into the backfield to almost sack Jackson Dart. I think Joshua Farmer, not Jeremiah Farmer Jr., Joshua Farmer is kind of coming along here. He had a very nice spring, which I don't really know how a defensive lineman can have a very nice spring, but he was pretty disruptive in the spring, early parts of training camp. Didn't really hear much about him after that. But I want to talk about a guy that was pretty hyped up throughout the draft process, Braden Swinson. Swinson hasn't done much. He's had a few good bull rush reps in game. He hasn't done much in practice. He's a guy that everyone's really excited for, and he has not produced really at all in the preseason games or in training camp. So we'll see on Swinson. There's no way, I shouldn't say there's no way, but I doubt he gets cut. But I just don't think he's been great at all. And for a team that I think personally lacks good edge rushers, it's unfortunate that Swinson so far, and yes, Swinson could be the next TJ Watt, but Swinson so far hasn't panned out. You'd like to see at least 1 or 2. Okay, you've seen like 1 or 2 flashes, but you'd like to see like 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe even 10, 10 to 15 flashes throughout the summer where you're like, all right, this guy he might not be a star, but this guy can play in the league. Similar to like an Anthony Jennings, like that's kind of what you're hoping for, I guess, baseline. And it doesn't look like Swinson can be like that, but a little bit too premature to say. Alex Austin also got some run playing yesterday. So he's going to be our slot corner, potentially. Marcus Jones also. It's kind of like a matchup-based thing, and Alex Barth and Evan Lazar talked about this on their Catch 22 podcast the other day. It's a matchup-based thing for the cornerback room. You're obviously always going to have Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez on the field. Those are your 2 best corners, if they're healthy, obviously. But it's deciding who's going to be that slot corner, who's going to be your nickel. Is that going to be a safety, or is that going to be a Jalen Hawkins? Is that going to be an Alex Austin or a Marcus Jones? So we'll see on that. That's TBD. But let's talk about the kicking competition before we get into the cuts and then 53-man roster projection. Andy Borregales was the only kicker to kick a field goal yesterday. I thought that was a little bit strange because that could mean one of 2 things. One is that John Parker Romo, the other kicker, who did not take any reps, is already on the team. And this is similar to what Ben Woldridge did at quarterback, where let's see if this guy can maybe start a discussion in this game. We'll see if he kicks well, if he makes a 59-yard field goal. All right, we'll reconsider. We still got 4 days left until cutdown day. We'll have 4 days of productive talks, and then we'll come to a decision. Or it just could be, we want to see more Andy in the game. We kind of know what John Parker Romo is. We don't really love what John Parker Romo is. We don't really care, honestly. I just want to see Andy play. If he sucks, John Parker Romo's our guy. Okay, I lied. There's 3 things. Or it could be, yeah, we're done with John Parker Romo. Don't really care. Don't really want to see him kick. Let's just keep Andy. The third thing, I will kind of say, that is not the case at all, because if that was the case, well, I guess it could have been the case and Andy didn't prove it. But I don't think it's the case, because then John Parker Romo would have been gone in the first 16 cuts, like I said. So Borgales missed a 54-yard field goal. He made a 30-yard field goal. And he went 1 for 1 on extra points. And then I thought Behringer, who is a guy that, Bryce Behringer is a guy that I do not think is great at punting the football, but he looked good yesterday. All right, let's get to the cuts from today so far. So they cut, I'm going to just read this whole paragraph and then just kind of go through each player. The Patriots are parting ways with linebacker R.J. Moughton, running back Micah Bernard, wide receiver Phil Lutz, defensive tackle Kyle Pecco, tight end Cole Fotheringham, running back Shane Watts, defensive tackle Phil Bildley, quarterback Ben Wooldridge, defensive back Jordan Polk, linebacker Monty Rice, guard Sidy Sow, tight end Jaheim Bell, defensive back Isaiah Bolden, and guard Tyrese Robinson. So notable names in there include Sidy Sow, Jaheim Bell, and Isaiah Bolden, but let's start from the top. R.J. Moughton is a guy that wasn't going to make the team from the beginning, alongside Micah Bernard. We already talked about him. We already talked about Phil Lutz, how he wasn't going to make the team. Kyle Pecco, veteran defensive lineman, didn't make the team, wasn't going to make the team. Cole Fotheringham, yes, he had a cool catch over the middle. He wasn't going to make the team. Shane Watts, another guy I talked about. Philip Bliddy, another guy that I don't know who that is, but he was not going to make the team. Ben Wooldridge, talked about him enough. Jordan Polk, I really thought he had a shot at being the cornerback 6. I thought he's been the best out of those 4 that I talked about. Minor battle, him and Isaiah Bolden. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. I think if he had a better game last night, it would have been enough. Monty Rice is a guy who made the team last year as a waiver claim from Kansas City, and he gets cut. Was that Monty Rice? Yeah. Sidy Sow, your starting left guard from 2023. Last regime didn't like him, so they benched him. This regime didn't like him even more, so they cut him. Interesting. He's a bigger guard. He's a guy that a lot of people thought could be your starting left guard, and unfortunately, he had a bad camp. He had a bad preseason, and he's off the team. Jaheim Bell, a guy that was significantly hyped up last year. Like, significantly hyped up. I even typed him up. I said you could use him as the next. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that, but the way that the Patriots use Aaron Hernandez. But I said you could use him as the next Aaron Hernandez, and that did not work out. They did not use him like that. And I think we just have to call it quits on drafting smaller, athletic tight ends, because you look at the history of the Patriots, not only drafting, but you look at the history of the Patriots bringing in tight ends like that. Yes, it was under Alex Van Pelt last year, but the first time with Jonnu Smith, nothing. Second time around Jaheim Bell, nothing. And of course, the Patriots and Bill O'Brien brought in Aaron Hernandez, and that worked out pretty well for them until, okay. But I think just Hernandez was just very talented, so that's why. But yeah, when you bring in a Jaheim Bell who's not that talented and doesn't really fit the scheme, it's not going to work out. That tight end room is interesting. They just got to stop. And I think they did a better job this training camp of bringing in G. Scott, who, yes, he's more athletic than a Hunter Henry or a Austin Hooper or a Rob Gronkowski, but he can still block for you, and he's still a big, as in tall, and a big as in big guy who can block. You bring in a C.J. Dupree from Alabama, another guy who is a good blocking tight end, a good receiving tight end, and then I almost said Matt Sokol. And then also, why is he escaping my name? Also, Cole Fotheringham is another one of those guys that you brought in. to be a big tight end. And then also the Jack Westover, another guy. All right, let's see. Tyrese Robinson, I'm going to go to him before I go to Isaiah Bolden, I guess, for absolutely no reason. But Tyrese Robinson was in. I said the Patriots start Tyrese Robinson after the spring practices, and he doesn't even make the team. Didn't look like he was going to make the team. He just never was really given that opportunity in training camp or preseason. He was given good opportunities in mini camp and OTAs, but something must have happened where he just those opportunities just decreased. Also, I wonder if the name's escaping me right now, but he was a guard. He retired, played for the Jets in Washington. I wonder if he would have made the team, but whatever. And then Isaiah Bolden, another one of these guys where it's a more extreme example of the Anthony Jennings and Kyle Duggar examples, but really not more extreme. Those guys are just bigger names. He's a guy who, actually, he didn't make the team last year, but he played a little bit last year. So it's kind of another example of a guy who he was a scheme fit for the Belichick defense, and he's not a scheme fit for the Vrabel defense. So that's it. Let's go into my 53-man roster projection. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to do this now. All right. So they updated. I have Drake May and Josh Dobbs making the team. No explanation. I have them carrying 4 running backs. JaMychal Hasty. And Ramondre and Antonio and Travion. Tight ends. I'm kind of hesitant. I'm going to leave tight end for now. Receiver. Booty's making the team. They don't have Booty on the team. Chisholm's making the team. And Javon Baker's making the team as a special teamer. Ben Brown's making the team as a center alongside Garrett Bradbury. Jared Wilson's obviously going to make it. All right, for the guard position, I might go 3 guards here. And I'm going to go Marcus Bryant and Vidarian Lowe. And then I'll go Caden. Okay, never mind. I think Caden Wallace can make the team as a guard over Laken Robinson. I had Laken Robinson on my 53-man roster projection that I put out a few hours ago. But now I'm going to change it to Caden Wallace. Caden Wallace is a guy that can play tackle. Okay, he can't actually play tackle or guard, but he's a guy that can fill in. Maybe we'll see at tackle or guard. 3rd-round pick from last year, so yeah. All right. So right now, team's looking like the offense is done. May Dobbs, Stevenson, Gibson, Henderson, Hasty, Henry Hooper. We're leaving off tight end for now. Receiver room is Diggs, Douglas, Hollins, Williams, Chisholm, Booty, and Baker. Centers are Garrett Bradbury, Ben Brown. Guards, Mike Onwenu, Cole Strange, Jared Wilson. And then our guy that can play guard or tackle, Caden Wallace. Our tackles, I'm keeping 4. Will Campbell, Morgan Moses, Marcus Bryant, and Vidarian Lowe. This battle between Vidarian Lowe and Demontre Jacobs at the beginning was won by Demontre Jacobs, but, or I should say he was winning the battle because he didn't win it. And then obviously Vidarian Lowe, not obviously, but Vidarian Lowe comes in, plays a much better game than, plays much better than Demontre Jacobs and wins the job. All right. So now it's time. I have 40 players on my team, so let's switch over to defense. All right, for the defensive ends. Now, I would have liked to have Isaiah Ayton on my team because I think he has so much potential. You look at the size, you look at how big and physical he is. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and go with Truman Jones and Elijah Ponder. 2 guys that I have thought that have, how do I word this? 2 guys that I think, that I think have had good summers. Truman Jones, good relationship with Vrabel. Elijah Ponder stood out on the field. For defensive tackles, it's Barmore is the only one that they have as a lock, but Kyrus Tong is a guy that was brought in to replace Devon Gotchow as a run stopper, and he's done more than that. He's been really good, really effective in the pass rush. I talked about Joshua Farmer. He's going to be on the team, and Jeremiah Farms is a guy that we can revisit. So I don't think Tavai is going to make the team. I think Gibbons and Ellis are going to make the team, and I think Marte Mapu is going to make the team. They don't have Marte. Mapu for some reason on this. But I'm going to get 52 players here. So it's going to say 52 out of 53. You can't even see it. But I have Spillane, Gibbons, Ellis, and Mapu as my linebackers. Because Mapu, if you remember correctly last year, he was given the green dot against Miami after Kyle Duggar goes down. The Jabril Peppers situation happens. And he had a really good game. I thought Mapu had a good season last year. He had the interception against Josh Allen. Didn't really have a great, whatever. But he slipped out going out of the end zone. He's down at the 1. But I thought Marte Mapu had a good season last year. And maybe he's not a fit for this defense, but he's a smaller linebacker, which is what Mike Vrabel's looking for. So why not have him on this team? All right. I have Anthony Jennings on this team, but I could take him off if we get to one more player. And Chason's obviously on this team because he's overtaken Keon White. Where is Keon White, by the way? Oh, there he is. Okay. He's overtaken Keon White as the right edge rusher. But yeah, we'll see. K'Lavon Chaisson, former first-round pick for the Jaguars, had a good season last year with the Raiders, 5 sacks. Harold Landry, really good summer. I didn't think Harold Landry was going to be as big of a contributor as he has been so far. And no one's played a game yet, but we'll see. Jennings, not a scheme fit, but if you can't incorporate Anthony Jennings in your scheme, then I don't really know what you're running because Anthony Jennings is a good football player, in my opinion. So for cornerbacks, Gonzo Davis, we talked about this. I already have this list. Kind of the whole episode's been centered around the cornerback room. I have Alex Austin. I have Marcus Jones. I have DJ James. And it's between... Okay, so it's kind of surprising to me that Brandon Crossley got farther than Jordan Polk, but I expect him to be cut in the near future. It's Miles Battle for me at cornerback 6. Oh, there's Marte Mapu. Okay. Oh, boy. I have some tough decisions to make. I'm going to have to cut someone. Or I'm just not going to keep 6 cornerbacks. All right, so I think we're just not going to keep 6 cornerbacks. I think we got to get rid of Miles Battle. I want to keep Del Pettis. I want to keep Kyle Duggar, and I want to keep Marte Mapu. I think I have to leave Del Pettis. Oh, no. I'm keeping Del Pettis. I'm keeping Jalen Hawkins. Okay. I have 53 players. All right. That's good. You know what? I think I'm going to get rid of Elijah Ponder. Ponder's good, but I don't think he's... I think we need another tight end to make the team. And this is if you cannot go out and get someone. The Patriots are going to go out and get a tight end, I hope. But for now, well, actually, I think maybe you just keep Ponder, but I'm going to go ahead and just say you can't get anyone. Special teamers. Behringer, Ashby, School. Okay, we have to actually get rid of another player. Because we need to have a kick. Oh, no, we don't. No. Oh, I have John Parker Romo on the team right now. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, but Parker Romo's outplayed Borgalis, and I love Andy Borgalis. He's probably my favorite player on this football team. But, like, missing 2 long kicks in the game, he's been really good in training camp, but John Parker Romo has been just as good. And in the preseason, Parker Romo's better, and I think it says something that he didn't play yesterday. We obviously went over what that could mean, but, yeah, have Parker Romo. So I'm going to go ahead and... You know what? I'm just going to keep this as my roster. So I'll go through the defense here. Keon White, Milton Williams, Truman Jones as your defensive ends. Defensive tackles, Barmore, Kyrus Tonga, Josh Farmer. Inside linebackers, Robert Spillane, Jack Gibbons, and Christian Ellis. Outside linebackers, Harold Landry, Anthony Jennings, Braden Swinson, K'Lavon Chaisson. Cornerbacks, 5. Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis, Alex Austin, Marcus Jones, and DJ James. Strong safety / Okay, so this is linebacker, Marte Mapu. And then strong safety, I have Kyle Duggar and Del Pettis. Free safety, Craig Woodson, Jalen Hawkins. Special teams, Behringer's your punter, Ashby's your long snapper, John Parker Romo's your kicker, and Brendan Schooler's another safety / gunner. I think they might trade Kyle Duggar. I don't know. We'll see. All right. That will do it for this podcast. Extremely long solo podcast. I'll be back after the 53-man roster is finalized. I'll break it down. Might be back before then. Depends. But, yeah, sorry for the random cut. My phone storage went out. So, yeah. Follow me on Instagram, Patriots3. Follow the podcast, Patriots Real Time Podcast. And that's all I have to say. So, I'll see you potentially before next Tuesday, but definitely next Tuesday. So, yep. All right. Bye.